Hi, I'm Kathy Wade, CEO of Learning Through Art Incorporated. I'd like to welcome you to Books Alive for Kids, the performing arts literacy show that brings kids of all ages the sights, sounds, and touch that make books come alive. Books Alive for Kids is a show based on a national award-winning performing arts literacy program with years of proven success in improving literacy skills. And if that's music to your ears, just imagine what happens when you open the cover of a book and experience the magic for the very first time. The Little Creek by Jennifer Ward. Illustrations by Julie Scott. There once lived a creek as old as the hills. It flowed slow and unhurried for thousands of years. In the beginning, the creek was not much more than a trickle of water, a small spring fed from the ground and skies. It wound and curved its way along below cottonwoods and willows. Over time, the creek grew, carving out a space for itself on earth. During seasons of spring, mountains gently fed the creek when snows melted and trickled from their tops. Clouds fed the creek during summers, when rain seeped from the skies above, soaking the ground below. Winds blew seeds to the creek, which took root and sprouted green and new. Soon the creek became home to cattails, rushes, and grasses. They, over time, became home to frogs, turtles, and fish. Others found this riparian area in time too: snakes, herons, flycatchers, and ducks. Nights passed, and the creek watched the moon shrink from a bright round ball to a skinny white sliver, then swelled to a bright round ball again. It was under the moon's silver blue light that the beaver found the creek. "Creek," asked Beaver, "may I make my home here?" The creek welcomed Beaver, who fashioned glassy pools, quiet and deep. Migrating birds found the creek. From high above, they spied the creek as a shimmering ribbon below. Travel weary, the birds took sanctuary at the creek. Creek welcomed them. Time passed quickly for the little creek. Snows melted, sun shone, and clouds burst. Life in the riparian area flourished. Trees grew strong and tall along the creek's banks, shadowing waters and keeping them cool. The creek's waters flowed around rocks and riffled over shallows and fallen branches. The creek's waters slowed and pooled deeply where beaver settled. This was good for Creek. One warm evening, as raindrops splattered creek's quiet pools, raccoon came to the creek. Skunk followed not long after. Later, as dropping cottonwood leaves drifted and twirled on the creek's surface, fox found the creek. Bear discovered the creek as frost clung to the dark logs near the creek's banks. Coyote and deer snuck visits to the creek in the early mornings between moonset and sunrise. One dry day, as the sun burnished the creek's surface, people found the creek. They were traveling and thirsty. Seeing all that the creek had to offer, they asked, "Creek, may we make our home here?" And the creek welcomed the people and gave all of its offerings freely. Game nearby fed the people. Water from the creek nourished their crops. They used mud from the creek's banks to fashion bowls of many shapes and sizes. Over time, more people found the creek. People from different places who had traveled many seasons and miles. At first, they would just visit, trading goods with the creek settlers. Eventually, the visitors settled near the creek also. They cleared trees to build homes, trading posts, stores, and roads. The land around the creek changed, and the creek continued to give freely to all who made their home there. In time, people channeled the creek's currents to better water crops. They dammed the creek's waters to better serve themselves. They cut more trees to make land for their cattle. The creek wondered, without trees for shelter, how can beaver build? Where will flycatcher nest? Beaver and flycatcher had no choice but to abandon the creek. Gone were the creek's pools, glassy and deep. Gone were the gentle riffles over shallows and roots. Gone, too, were raccoon, bear, and deer, snakes, herons, and ducks. Summers brought clouds heavy with rain, but the earth could not accept the rains. Structures and pathways now covered the earth. Trees and grasses that once collected and drank the rains were gone. The water had nowhere to go, nothing to soak into. It gushed wildly to the creek. Creek accepted the water. It rushed in the creek murky and wild, causing the creek's banks to crumble. With each passing rain, water meant to nourish the ground went to the creek instead. Creek's waters now ran muddy and dark. One day, a group of children found the creek. "Creek," they said, "we're on a nature hunt. Do you know where we can find animals?" But the creek did not welcome the children. Animals no longer made their home at the creek. "Creek," said the children, "we're hot. Can we splash your water on our feet and faces?" But the creek did not welcome the children. The creek's waters were dirty. "Children," said the adult in the group, "this creek needs us. With our help, this creek would welcome your splashing. It could be home to many animals." The people, children and adults alike, worked to restore the creek. Banks were rebuilt, seeds and trees were replanted, litter was removed, water was restored. The people created signs and gentle paths for the creek so others could enjoy the creek without hurting it. The people vowed to protect the creek. Springs turned to summers and summers turned to falls. Creek once again shone beautifully. Currents riffled over shallows and fallen branches. Leaves twirled and swam on creek's surface. Days passed, and the creek watched each evening as the sun crept downward, dissolving into night. It was under dusk, fading gray, that a beaver found the creek. "Creek," asked the beaver, "may I make my home here?" Creek welcomed the beaver, who fashioned pools glassy and deep, and the creek was happy. The end.
Hello, I'm Kay Geiger, President of PNC Bank for Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky. PNC is dedicated to supporting programs that prepare children for success in school and in life. Through our signature PNC Grow Up Great program, we are proud to partner with Learning Through Art Incorporated to present its national award-winning Books of Life for Kids with this presentation of Princess Hotcha and the Meadow of Bloom, which is inspired by The Little Creek, written by Jennifer Ward and illustrated by Julie Scott. Making books come alive through sight, sound, and touch is a great way to engage kids of all ages in the love of reading. We're thrilled to make the experience of reading engaging and educational through Books Alive for Kids. On behalf of PNC Grow Up Great, please sit back and enjoy this episode of Books Alive for Kids, Princess Hotcha and the Meadow of Bloom.
The mind of a child can turn on a dime, giving them tremendous problem-solving skills. So it is with Eileen Woods, who through the strength of her imagination transforms herself into ninja warrior Princess Hotcha. Using her power gained through reading, she battles to save the planet from her arch-enemy, Quibbler, the corny jokester. Now, enter the world of Princess Hotcha.
Ha! 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 Ha!
Why did the apple turn over?
Because he's selling Jelly Roll. Try harder, Quibbler.
I've got 1,000,000 of them, Hotcha.
Bring it.
Where do you find a prehistoric cow?
From a museum. Week.
Why do birds fly south for the winter?
Because
Because it's too far to walk.
what's that?
Looks alive. Why, I oughta...
And the winner of this year's Best Ninja Princess, Eileen Woods!
Thank you, thank you. I want to thank everyone who helped me become the ninja I am today. My coach, all the vile villains I had to defeat. You know who you are. My family.
Eileen.
Even my mother.
Eileen Woods, did you open your box yet?
This box?
Don't try me.
I think there's a book in it.
Well, yes, it's a book in it. It's not radioactive, honey. The pipe, where did you find that?
On the ground?
Throw it away. Eileen. Eileen Woods.
Neither Eileen or her mother knows that this moment will bring about great change.
Oh, sorry about that, Miss Lefevre.
It's okay, Eileen. I've actually been looking for this.
Do you live at school?
No, I'm actually out here working on a project for my class.
Maybe the kids should work on the project. What you doing?
Helping butterflies.
Did you know there's no butterflies around here?
Well, no, not yet. There's really no reason for them to come here right now. But that's why we have to call them.
You want to use my phone?
I have a better idea. What if you come over here and help me dig a hole?
No, you look like you got it under control.
Right. Okay. You know, this place used to be a beautiful meadow, and it was full of all kinds of plants, and there were different birds and wildlife. And I've been trying to put some of the native plants back in here, and I'm hoping that that will attract some wildlife to come back.
Blast this buck! Keep it moving.
No, I'm sorry, I didn't see you standing there. On my big feet now, I just,
Keep it moving.
always said I had big feet. I didn't know.
Why do you want wildlife near my backyard?
Well, it's not really that wild, Eileen. I want to bring my class out here to show them what this place used to be like. And I can't make it exactly like it was, but I think if I can get some native plants in here, I can get it started. But to be honest with you, right now, I spend all my time just picking up the garbage.
Butterflies don't go for that.
If I can get this cleared out, get some plants in here within the next 3 days, I think I can attract migrating monarch butterflies. I'm talking to Principal Johnson because he thinks this strip of land would be better off as a driveway than as a nature sanctuary. In 3 days, if I don't get butterflies, I'm going to be paved over.
Do they really pave over teachers?
Princess Hotcha, the feeder of villains and tamer of all things wild, searches for a place to read her book, unaware that soon she will have special guests.
Hey, mind if we rest here for a while? I just flew in from Saskatoon and boy, my wings are tired.
You know I'm reading here.
I like a good story, eh? What you reading? The Little Creek. Looks like Arizona.
Yes.
We flew over it on our way to Santa Cruz.
Ooh, can I listen to the story?
He's a big fella, eh?
Hey, why'd the lizard go on a diet?
What?
Don't listen.
Because he was too heavy for his scales.
Does that make any sense?
As another day passes, Eileen Woods checks on the progress of Mr. Lefebvre.
Miss Lefebvre, how's it going?
Not going so well. I've got enough time to either plant these bushes or pick up this garbage. But I don't have time to do both.
Have you ever read this book?
Oh, I love this book.
See, these people say this creek. It's kind of like what you're doing, only different. So that's what you need.
Exactly. I need help.
Yeah, you need some Girl Scouts or something.
Well, I didn't pack any Girl Scouts. Eileen Woods, somehow I've got to get this done.
I have an idea. No, we did it.
We did it.
Nice pasture.
Nice meadow.
Keep working.
Thanks a lot.
Eileen, I think you need some dinner. Come on, let's eat, baby.
Okay.
This is my favorite part, eh?
Hacha!
Not now, Queebla.
What runs but never walks? Water!
Boo!
You know what? You're like a broken pencil.
What?
You got no point.
Oh no. Oh, easy, big. Hacha, get a leash on it. Oh, that's bad breath. No, I was kidding.
Who let that dinosaur in my yard?
Hacha!